Hey there, welcome. Do you ever feel like your stories in English are just kind of a list of events? Well, today, we're going to build a toolkit of special time words that will help you connect all your ideas smoothly, making you sound much more natural. Let's get right into it. You know that feeling, right? You know exactly what happened, but it's just so hard to explain how it all fits together. The words we're about to cover are basically the glue that connects the pieces of your story, creating a super clear timeline for anyone listening. First up in our brand new toolkit, we've got two incredibly useful words, when and while. These are going to be your go-to tools for talking about things that happen at the same time, or when one action suddenly interrupts another one. Okay, so how do you know which one to pick? Well, think of it like this. Use when for two actions that happen together or one right after the other. But while is all about setting the scene. It describes a longer, ongoing action in the background that gets interrupted by something shorter and more sudden. Let's look at some examples. It'll make it crystal clear.
Here we go. Here's when in action. When Davina called the doctor, she asked to schedule an appointment. You see, the two actions, the calling and the asking, happen pretty much at the same time. It's just a simple, logical sequence. Perfect.
Now, let's check out while. The background scene, that longer action, is we were eating dinner. And then what breaks into that scene? The short, sudden interruption. The phone rang. You can see how while just perfectly sets up that whole situation, right?
And here's a super important thing to remember. The do example shows two ongoing actions happening at the same time. I watched TV while Jan read the paper. In a case like this, when or while both totally work. But look at the don't example. You would not say, while the phone rang, we were eating dinner. And why is that? Because while always sticks with the longer, ongoing action, not that short little interruption. Okay, let's add two more essential tools to our kit. When you need to be absolutely positively clear about the order of events, before and after are going to be your best friends. They make the sequence of your story unmistakable. So their main job is pretty simple. They put things in order. But here's a neat little style tip for you. Where you place the clause in the sentence can actually change the emphasis. If you put a key event at the very end, it often makes it feel a little more important, gives it more impact.
Take a look at this sentence. After I'd reminded him several times, that part just sets the context. But the main point, the important action that comes at the end, is that Jeff finally mailed the letter. After makes the order of events perfectly clear.
And before does the exact same thing, just in reverse. First, he remembered the letter. Second, he left the office. You see, it's all about creating that easy-to-follow, logical timeline for your listener.
All right, let's dive into our final pair, which adds a bit more nuance to our stories. As soon as and by the time are fantastic for showing immediate reactions and also for talking about actions that are completely finished. So the key difference here is really all about the timing. As soon as means one thing happens and the next thing follows immediately, like with no delay. By the time is different. It's telling us that one action was completely 100% finished before the next one even started. This is a perfect example of that immediate feeling. The TV show ended, and what happened right at that moment? He went to bed. As soon as connects those two events with zero delay between them. And here you can really see that sense of completion. What was finished before he went to bed? The act of watching 3 TV shows. That entire activity was done. By the time signals that the first action is all wrapped up and in the past before the second one begins.
You've got the tools, so now it's time to put them into practice. This is truly the best way to make sure the learning sticks. Are you ready for a couple of quick challenges?
Okay, on the screen you'll see 5 sentence beginnings and 5 endings. Try to match them up correctly. And hey, feel free to pause if you need a moment to think it through. Ready to check your answers?
Let's check your work. Number 1 connects with, I spoke to Joe before he left. Simple. Number 2, I washed the dishes as soon as I finished eating. That's that immediate action. 3, by the time I got to the bus station, it had already left. A completed past action. 4, the doorbell rang while the baby was taking a nap. Our classic interruption. And finally, number 5, when it got warm, I turned on the fan. Just a simple sequence. So, how did you do? All right, challenge number 2. This time, you need to fill in the blank with the best word from the box. And here's a little hint. Sometimes, more than one word can actually fit. Give it a shot. Okay, let's review those answers. For the first one, if you don't clean up this mess, Both by the time or before work really well there. 4. Call the doctor. You want that immediacy, so as soon as or when fits best. Number 3. We swam in the sea describes a longer action, so while is perfect. 4. Earning my engineering degree. After creates a nice, clear sequence. The next one, Thea realized she'd left her ID, works with either by the time or when. And finally, for he'd never been to Paris, the word before makes the most sense. Fantastic work.
We have covered a lot, so let's do a super quick summary just to lock in everything we've learned about your new storytelling toolkit.
So let's do a rapid-fire recap. Use when for actions happening together. Use while for an interruption. Before and after create a clear sequence. As soon as signals immediacy. And by the time is for an action that's already finished. That is your entire toolkit, simplified.
Mastering these words is a huge step, but it's just one part of your English journey. If you found this helpful, there's a lot more where that came from.
To keep building your skills and your confidence, make sure you subscribe to the American English Academy channel. We create these explainers to give you clear, focused lessons that you can use right away.
So, my final question for you is this. Now that you have all these great tools, what story are you going to tell first? Thanks for watching.